They weren't supposed to fight. They were told their place was behind the lines, not on them. But when the world was burning, these women picked up their weapons, stood shoulder to shoulder with men, and changed history forever. Joan of Arc, France. France was losing the 100 Years' War. Cities had fallen, armies scattered, hope almost gone. Then came a 17-year-old peasant girl who claimed she was guided by God. Wearing shining armor, Joan of Arc rode at the head of French troops, her white banner cutting through the smoke of battle. Under her command, the army recaptured Orléans and turned despair into victory. Soldiers believed she was heaven's messenger. Enemies called her a witch. Captured by the English, she refused to betray her visions. In 1431, she was burned alive, whispering prayers as flames rose. Centuries later, she was declared a saint. Joan proved that faith and courage can outshine any crown. Lyudmila Pavlichenko, Soviet Union. When the Nazis invaded in 1941, a Ukrainian student traded her textbooks for a sniper rifle. Her name was Lyudmila Pavlichenko, and she became the most lethal female sniper in history. Crawling silently through forests and rubble, she waited for hours, a single shot, one confirmed kill. Then another, and another. Her total, 309 confirmed kills. Officers, snipers, even entire enemy squads. The Germans feared her so much they broadcast propaganda begging her to surrender. She laughed and fired again. Wounded in combat, she later toured the U.S., meeting President Roosevelt and reminding the world that bravery speaks every language. The world called her Lady Death. She called herself a soldier of peace. Captain Lakshmi Sahgal, India. Far from Europe's battlefields, another war raged, the fight for India's freedom. Captain Lakshmi Sahgal, a doctor by profession, joined Subhas Chandra Bose's Indian National Army. She led the Rani of Jhansi Regiment, an all-female combat unit named after a legendary queen. Marching through jungles of Burma, she trained hundreds of women to handle rifles and grenades, many for the first time. Her soldiers fought under fire, rescued civilians, and proved that the spirit of independence was not limited by gender. After the war, she continued serving the poor as a doctor. Her life became proof that real freedom is both won and healed. Nancy Wake, New Zealand, France. They called her the White Mouse because the Nazis could never catch her. Nancy Wake, born in New Zealand and raised in Australia, joined the French resistance after seeing Nazi brutality firsthand. She organized escape networks, smuggled prisoners, and led sabotage missions against German convoys. Once, when men hesitated, she reportedly said, "You can stay here and knit, or you can follow me." She parachuted behind enemy lines, commanded thousands of partisans, and fought like thunder in the mountains of France. By the end of the war, she was one of the Gestapo's most wanted agents, and one of the Allies' most decorated heroes. Sergeant Lee Ann Hester, United States. Centuries later, courage still wore a woman's face. In 2005, during a routine convoy near Baghdad, American soldiers were ambushed by dozens of insurgents. Sergeant Lee Ann Hester didn't wait for orders. She flanked the enemy under heavy fire, used grenades to clear trenches, and rescued her trapped team. When the dust settled, 27 enemy fighters were down, none from her unit. For her bravery, Hester became the first woman in U.S. history awarded the Silver Star for direct combat. Her calm voice on the radio that day said it all. "We're in the fight. We're moving forward." Maria Oktyabrskaya, Soviet Union. When Maria's husband was killed fighting the Germans, grief could have broken her. Instead, she sold everything she owned, donated the money to build a tank, and wrote to Stalin, "I want to avenge my husband and defend my motherland." Her T-34 was named the Fighting Girlfriend. She trained as a mechanic and driver, then rolled straight into battle. Witnesses said she charged into enemy lines fearlessly, repairing her tank under fire more than once. In 1944, she was mortally wounded but left behind a legend, the woman who drove vengeance like a tank. Queen Boudica, ancient Britain. Long before guns or tanks, Britain's fields ran red under Roman rule. A Celtic queen named Boudica refused to bow. After Roman soldiers assaulted her daughters, she united tribes and led one of the largest rebellions in ancient history. Her army stormed Roman towns, burning Londinium to the ground. Ancient writers described her as tall, fierce, hair flowing like flames, voice booming over the roar of war chariots. Though eventually defeated, her defiance echoed for centuries. Today, her bronze statue near the River Thames reminds Britain that freedom was once fought by a mother with a spear. Lepa Radić, Yugoslavia. Some heroes live a lifetime. Others live just long enough to show what courage truly means. Lepa Radić was only 17 when she joined the partisan resistance against Nazi occupation. Captured during a mission, she was sentenced to death in front of a crowd. The soldiers offered mercy if she revealed her comrades' names. She refused. Standing on the gallows, she declared, "You will know them when they avenge me." Moments later, she was gone, but her final words ignited thousands to keep fighting. Lepa's bravery proved that age has nothing to do with heroism. Eileen Nairn, United Kingdom. Quiet, shy, and easily overlooked. Perfect traits for a spy. Eileen Nairn, a British agent with the Special Operations Executive, parachuted into Nazi-occupied France in 1944. Her job: maintain radio contact between French resistance groups and London. Every transmission risked death. The Gestapo could trace a signal within minutes. She was captured, tortured, and sent to a concentration camp. She never broke. She later escaped during a prisoner transfer and continued to serve until liberation. After the war, she lived quietly, rarely speaking of her service. Only after her death were her medals discovered, silent proof of a life lived in secret valor. Sabiha Gökçen, Turkey. While the world debated whether women could fly, Sabiha Gökçen was already soaring through the clouds. Adopted by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, founder of modern Turkey, she became the world's first female combat pilot. In the 1930s, she flew daring missions across rugged terrain, proving women could master the skies and command aircraft in war. She trained countless pilots and became a national symbol of modern Turkish identity. Her name now graces Istanbul's international airport, fitting tribute to a woman who turned the sky into her battlefield. They fought history itself. From medieval France to the deserts of Iraq, these women defied tradition, fear, and death itself. They weren't fighting just for land or glory. They were fighting for recognition, for equality, for the right to stand as warriors. History often remembers kings and generals, but somewhere between the pages are their stories, women who refuse to be forgotten. They proved that courage has no gender, that strength wears many faces, and that sometimes the bravest voice on the battlefield is the one the world never expected to hear. If you believe their stories deserve to live forever, like, share, and subscribe, because bravery like this should never fade.